Hey everyone! I thought I would do this month's ink pairings a bit earlier for the month of the June Stories by the Month kit as well as the Scents Story kit from Ali Edwards, just because the end of this month is going to be a bit more busy for me. So I really liked the story kit colors this month. They were all these rich colors that remind me kind of food. So I had a lot of fun going through my ink stash and finding inks that match these colors. And then I found that the colors from the Stories by the Month kit, as well as compared to the story kit this month, are actually quite different, as you can see. So I had a lot of fun going through these pastels and picking out some colors that I liked as well. So I think I'm going to get started with the Scents story kit. And as usual, I'm going to start with the Altenew inks and then go into the Distress Oxide and then go into the Ali Edwards, just because I have the most of the colors in the Altenew inks and then followed by the Distress Oxides and then followed by the Ali Edwards inks. So I did pick out a few colors that I thought went really well with these little ing word cards that were part of the embellishments in this month's kit. So the one that I picked out for this red here was this burnt red. Now, I had a difficult time matching the exact red in there, and as you can see, even here that the ink is a bit lighter in color, but I think that's a pretty close match to that color there. For this yellow color, I kind of pulled one of the light orange colors as opposed to a yellow color because I didn't have any yellows that were this rich in color. And so I picked out this Snapdragon, which I think goes really well with that, as you can see. For the green, I didn't have one that was this dark in terms of like a mossy green. So I picked out the color Moss from Altenew, and it matches a bit in the tone, but I do think that the green in the kit is a bit darker, and you can see that even from this circle here. For the blue, I had a hard time with this one as well because I didn't really have one that was light enough but still the same tone. So I picked out a bit of a darker one from my Altenew ink stash. This one's called Lagoon, and I think that pairs actually quite well. And as for the dark blue, I picked this Dark Night, which I had picked for last month's kit as well. And I do think that the Dark Night is a bit more purpley in tone of a blue compared to the blue in this kit. But they are quite close, as you can see, so I think they would work just fine together. And then this one was the hardest one for me to match in terms of Altenew inks. This Rocky Shore here is a pretty close one. I do think this is a bit of a cooler tone than this Rocky Shore color there, and it is a bit darker as well. So just comparing those ones there. And then I had also printed out these two colors to kind of get a better sense of the two colors here. So this one's kind of like a maroony purple, and this one's kind of a bit of a burgundy red, which match the colors in these pattern papers that they had in the kit. So for those two, I pulled out Grapevine for the purple, which I think actually matches quite closely, and then Velvet for that burgundy color, which I think is pretty close, but I do think that this pattern paper is just a bit darker than the Velvet color here. And then in terms of the Distress inks, now the Distress inks I think aren't quite as vibrant as the colors that are in this story kit here, but I thought I'd just go through and show what I found anyways. This Barn Door doesn't seem to be as orange of a red as the red in that kit, but it is still quite a close match. The Wild Honey, I think, is pretty close. I think this one would be a bit more, even a bit more like orange, kind of a golden orange in color compared to this Wild Honey there. And that's kind of shocking to me because like I think of Wild Honey as an orange color instead of a yellow. So there's that. Again, couldn't really find a really deep green, but this peeled paint matches pretty close in the tone at least. And then for the blue, Salvage Patina I thought was the closest match out of all of the Distress Oxides I have. I think this one is just a bit grayer in tone than the Salvage Patina. And then again, a hard time finding a dark enough blue. I think the Distress Oxides, just because of the oxide formulation, they don't go as dark, so I wasn't able to find a dark enough blue for that, but the Faded Jeans, you can kind of pair with that, and it would be close enough, I think. This one was where I found a real winner in terms of the Distress Oxides, is matching with this beige taupe color. I think the Antique Linen does a really fine job of that. And then I also pulled out this Fire Brick as a kind of a darker red option. I find that there aren't a lot of purpley colored Distress Oxide inks that match with this purple tone, so I didn't pull one out from my stash to match with that. But Fired Brick I think would go well with this background here. There's the comparison with the Barn Door. You can see that this one is, this one's a bit more orange in tone, and then this one is a bit lighter. And then in terms of the Ali Edwards ones, there weren't really a lot as far as this month's colors that matched Ali Edwards inks, surprisingly. I think the Redwoods does a pretty good job with matching the red in the kit. Except for, again, this red is just a bit more orange in tone, I think. The Tillamook really isn't very close for this yellowy orange color. I think the Tillamook is just a bit too orange. Again, for the green, not even close in terms of like the darkness, but at least the tone I think matches really well with the Willamette color. Columbia I thought was pretty close to the blue in this kit, although it is lighter than that teal color there. And then they Shoot I think is pretty close in terms of the blue. And now I will take these away and move on to the Stories by the Month kit. All right, so for this one here, I really liked the pastels in here, as well as this emerald green and the dark blues. I thought they look so nice together, and I was able to pick out some colors from Altenew to match this kit. The pink pearl I think matches pretty closely with this pink here, although this pink is a bit of a duller color I think than the pink pearl. For the orange, I picked out Orange Cream, which I think, again, like you can see here, that this is just a bit more desaturated than this orange cream color. For this minty teal color here, I think this color is a bit darker than the Mountain Mist, but I think in terms of tone, those ones match pretty closely with this Mountain Mist color. The blue was a bit harder to match. I dug through all of my Altenew inks, and this was the closest, I think. But you can see that this is just a bit more blue, and this is just a bit more kind of like desaturated and gray, I think, compared to this Eastern Sky color. And then I picked this Desert Night for the darkest blue, which I think is pretty close, although the blue in the kit I think is even more dark. As for the other colors in this kit, I think this emerald color from Altenew really goes well with this green in the kit. And it just adds a pop of color to this color palette as well. And then I picked out a gray just to match that gray in there. And I think that kind of rounds out the palette pretty much completely. In terms of the Distress Oxide inks, I think Tim Holtz doesn't really have a lot of pastel-y colors like the ones here, so I only picked out 4 colors that I thought would go close enough to the color scheme of the Stories by the Month kit. That's the Tattered Rose for the pink, the Speckled Egg, kind of a color in between that green and that blue there, I think. This Peacock Feathers for the green, although I think the Altenew one matches a bit closer than that. And then the Hickory Smoke for the gray. And again, I do think the Altenew one that I picked out does match a bit closer as well. As for the Ali Edwards inks, I only found 3 that really matched the tones in this kit, I felt. The Astoria color for sure with the pink here, although the Astoria is a bit lighter in my opinion. Columbia, I think, matches pretty closely. And then again, Deschutes being the darkest blue, although I think this blue is a bit darker than the blue here. And just to compare, this is the blue from the Scents kit, and that one is darker than this one here. So that's about it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. I will also leave a link to all of these different inks as well in the description box below, so feel free to check that out if you like. And make sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and be sure to subscribe for some more in a future month. Thanks for watching!